listeners of Agape FM. What is that time again? You know, it's a lovely day in Nelson Mandela Bay. You know, sun is shining, lovely, lovely weather outside. And yes, you are back again with myself, Nikki, on the Midday Talk. You know, where I get to speak to entrepreneurs, you know, businessmen, businesswomen, movers and shakers of Port Elizabeth and South Africa, you know, as a whole. So it's always a privilege to be speaking to inspirational men and women, you know, who's just, you know, went out there and made the most of, you know, just entrepreneurial spirit and went out there and made things work for themselves. So today I have with me Sanville Moses of Waymaker Venture SA. Good day, sir. How are you?
I'm well, well. Thank you for having me today.
Mm.
Also greeting your listeners, and those that's watching live. Yeah.
Yes, yes. It's honestly an honor to have you with us. You know, with your busy schedule.
Yeah.
You just told us that you have been in Cape Town and then you're off again. So for this time that we have, we appreciate,
Okay.
you know,
Yeah.
and we honor, you know, you coming here to Agape FM and just talking to us, you know, just having a chat. It's not an interview. I always say, nah, man, don't see it as an interview. It's just like relax.
Yeah.
Tell us about you. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know where to start. Where do you want to start?
Yeah, so
You,
let's
you
just
know the
start.
man behind the name.
Yeah, let's just start, you know, about a bit about you. Tell us a bit about you because, yeah, before we go into your bio, because I need to read your bio as well. But I think I'm just gonna read your bio
Yeah.
and then we can go.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. So Sanville is a technical and practical individual with a strong business acumen, leveraging over 20 years of experience of creating business value through dialogue, capital raising, venture capital, blockchain technology, fintech firms, and business management and business mentoring. He is well versed in implementing profound transformation of business and organizational activities, processes, competencies, and models to fully leverage the change and opportunities of mix of digital platforms, accelerating impact. He has a keen interest and understanding of big data, analytics, business intelligence, reporting, data capturing, capital raising, and financial. You know, as I was saying, I told him like, yo, that's a lot. But let's just start with the man behind all of this. You know,
Yeah.
give me a bit of background of who Sanville Moses is.
Yeah. So I was born and raised in Altus River in Cape Town, and had a tough childhood upbringing. Then we moved to Mitchell's Plain. We became my stomping ground, Cape Flats. Finished my schooling and went to college and university. I am the eldest of three siblings, so we see a lot in common with my late father that passed away of COVID, and so the person behind the name, the person you've read, sometimes I think, is that really me? So, there's a lot about my character and what I do, but I'm also a pastor's kid. Yeah, that's something I didn't mention in there.
PK.
Yeah. So when the calling came as being taking over, I shunned it for particular reasons, and I think my dad was upset about that. I think I wanted to be more unconventional. I wanted to do something different,
Yes.
as to just being going into ministry. But I think I found my part in where I am, in the marketplace, and still reaching out in my own way. I love what I do right now. I enjoy it. I find peace and comfort in knowing that every aspect of what I do, God is part of it. Um, And I think my journey started off when I got my very, very first job. As a young man, I was 19, turning 20 when I left South Africa to live in Denmark for 7 years of my life.
Wow.
And that transformation was something that I encountered with God. And I remember looking for this opportunity. I was standing on the beach and asking God, I need for you to open the door for me. I want to travel the world. I want to see the world, but I don't have money. I don't know how you're going to do it, but do it, you know. So his way of answering me was so unconventional that, you know, I couldn't believe it when I got the job. And as I spoke to you earlier on, I was invited for this interview. I'm going to cut the first part short because it's going to be long. So I was invited to this interview. I remember I wasn't dressed for the job. I wasn't dressed for the position, and I had a shirt on. I had a t-shirt actually, and then my shoes. I took the train to the interview, and my shoes were so ashy. I know some of you guys, but yeah. So you know when you broke. When you
broke
when you're hungry broke, that kind of thing. You know? So I think I realized when that was like that thing came to my life when I went for this interview. I remember I went into the lift with these guys, and these guys were saying, "By the look of the way this guy look, you won't get the job."
Wow.
And I immediately felt so despondent, discouraged, and I went into the boardroom. I found a corner for me to go sit in, and I remember everybody was sitting in a room. The room started packing up. There was about 2,000 young men in the room, all for the same job. And I remember the guy that invited me for the interview, but I'm thinking to myself, I was invited. I didn't call to come for the interview. I was invited for the interview. And I remember the guy that invited me asked a question. He said, "Who of you have your passport ready?" And I'm like, me and another guy lift up our hands, and he said, "Oh, Mr. Moses, it's you. Come to the front." He's calling me to the front, and he said to me, "Listen, all of you that don't have your passport, I don't think you will get the position." And he said to all of them, just him and me and another guy, we are going to start our training coming the Monday.
Sure.
And I was like, what just happened now? How did this happen? And the rest was history. I mean, like, ever since then, I never looked back. I never trusted God any other way, because everything I started doing became just a miracle. Even the business that I'm running, even starting this business, Waymaker. I remember I was sitting in a coffee shop, and a mutual friend that me and Skunil, pastor friend that me and Skunil, lady was saying, and she was literally prophesying, and she said, "Samuel, I don't know you, but I hear God is saying that what you're busy with, I've already put my seal of approval upon it." And that for me was just a confirmation, because I was in the back of my mind. And you know, sometimes when you start business, or when you start something, you're in the back of your mind, you're wondering, is this something that I really need to do? I'm so used to getting a salary, I'm so used to getting a monthly income. And I didn't have a choice, because I already I already invested some of what my money that I had into the business, you know. And I found that to be something rewarding. I found that to be something eye-opening for me, and I just started putting in, you know. And so yeah, that's me. I mean, I take use. I'm not a staker. It is not an entrepreneur out there that is not a risk taker, then entrepreneurship is not for you.
Sure.
So if you think about being an entrepreneur and playing it safe, then you're not an entrepreneur. You know, so yeah.
Sure. You know.
Wow.
Yes, that is some inspirational words. I think we can close now. Yeah. So yeah. We've read your bio, I've read your bio, and there's a lot going on in here, you know?
Yes.
And for the listeners out there, and for myself as well, I just want you to bring some clarity,
Okay.
some, simplify for us.
Okay.
So tell us about Waymaker Venture,
So Waymaker Venture was actually birthed through Waymaker Capital that me and another partner started.
Mm.
And we went our own separate way,
Okay.
and I started with Waymaker Venture Capital first, but Waymaker Capital is still there. Venture capital in terms of investing in small businesses and raising also funds. But Waymaker Venture actually became more a necessity to what we want to accomplish.
Mm.
And I think in 2018, when I started with this idea, I saw a market for it, and I saw how many businesses were struggling to find secure capital from banks, the traditional format and
Okay.
places. And I just been looking at ways to kind of being that gap between the financial industry as a key player and a person of color and coming. I mean, mind you, I was now I'm a colored guy coming from Mitchell's Plain on a Cape Flats. I always make the joke. Ek het nog goed gedoen vir 'n colored lady van die
Come
Kaap.
on now. Yeah, I saw you. When I was
Right.
stalking you, I'm like, okay, so he's like, nah, I'm copy funny plane, copy funny plane.
Yeah, so I think as much as that I always wanted to keep my feet grounded.
Yeah.
Now where I come from, because there is, and this is a story that I shared with many people. I remember and when I said earlier in the joke, though it was a joke now, but when you're hungry,
Sure.
when you're so broke that you are hungry, that everything that you're doing is going to do with excellence. So I come from a place of I always wanted to do excellent. I always wanted to do great. So Waymaker Venture was that pinnacle point in my life that it became something that I don't even know where it is right now, because a couple of months back our company has been identified as one of the 140 financial services services companies in South Africa that is doing good things and doing great things in the industry. So I was taken and blown up, and like, so wow, so we're doing something right, that we penetrating the market, we unlocking funding, we really help businesses, but using the principles of God behind it as a form of getting to where we need to. Hence the name Waymaker, because when we see God, Waymaker is a Waymaker. So that signifies that.
Come on.
That signifies that we're gonna try and make a way. We're gonna try and
Yes.
find that money, that unlocking that money somewhere, somehow. There is an investor sitting and wondering, what can I do with my money? And I have that relationship with a several amount of investors, locally and globally. Speaking to them, engaging with them. I mean, I engage like I mentioned to you, I engage on a wide platform
Yeah.
with investors. So it's exciting to kind of speak to them, and I see on average how young men and young women are pitching their businesses to us. I was to sit on a panel which is called the Unicorn Africa, which I see young men from Africa continent, South Africa, Europe, Germany, all over the world that's pitching the idea, the concept to us. And I was praying, I was going, where is our people? Why are they not there? Why are they not show up to the masses? Because, like I said to you earlier on, these guys sitting 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning in their country, pitching to us, and telling their dreams, telling their stories. And we find the money to unlock it, to help their dreams come reality. So, yeah.
Sure. So that is honestly, inspirational. I asked you earlier because you said actually that it's not easy,
No.
to get that, investors to invest in you. So when it comes to prospective, entrepreneurs, what would you say that they need, because you have been doing this for, so when someone is listening out there, and you just mentioned that where's our people?
Yeah.
So if you can just give, some advice as to some guidelines?
I think the important part for anyone that's looking to engage investors or private equity firms and even family or friends and etc. is to think about your etiquette. Think about how you are going to speak when you are going to address a crowd of people, and get your ducks in a row, get your numbers properly, get your figures sorted. If you don't have an accountant or somebody to do that, get someone that is financially clued up to kind of make the sense pay up with their hands, so that everything that you do, it talks to each other. And what we call in this industry is a pitch deck, and where we have an investors deck. Those are two separate things. And I always ask them, do you have a pitch deck? What is that? It's not. I always think it's a PowerPoint. No, it's not. The days of PowerPoints is gone. So you need to have a pitch deck. A pitch deck is very integrated design. It's a more summarized document of your business plan. And an investors deck is basically saying that for your capital, your time, or your resources that you're going to invest within a company, this is what I'm going to give you. And sometimes people must understand. So an investor necessarily doesn't come with the kind of money. Maybe it comes with the resources to unlock and help you to get you where you need to be. Because the notion of people always thinking that an investor is about putting hardcore liquidity cash in your business. But investing can come along and say, I'm going to unlock some contracts for you. And that's what I do, because I can help you with unlocking capital. I can help you with resources, contacts. Here and there, I think if it's smaller businesses, I can help and invest some of my own resources and capital in the company, because I know I can do it. I have the capacity to do it. But when it's millions and billions, then I normally reach to other investors, But you need to have your numbers. You need to know your A game. You bring your A game along. You know your business, what's business, and don't try to fool or try to come with a jargon and a language. Be yourself. That's what I always say to people, and that always helped me.
Yes.
Be the original of who you are. You can't be a copy of the Dragon Den, presentation guys that's pitching in that business. You're not gonna make it. So just be you, and that's what people like. Be authentic about your product and your services and your business and your idea.